I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo. Welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. And guys, UFC 286 literally just ended probably an hour ago. At this rate, I just got home and everything settled down. Decided to just go instant reaction time. And man, first things fucking first. Leon Edwards doing the damn thing. All week I was flopping back and forth like, oh man, ever since the last fight, UFC 278, I'm like, man, I know Edwards got that knockout at the end. I know he had a really dominant first round. I know he looked good, but man, three and a half rounds there were just absolutely dominant. I'm like, man, I think Usman's probably going to win it by decision. And then, this week I'm leading in, I think it was like Tuesday, I did a video just kind of talking about it. And while I'm talking about the video, I'm like starting to talk myself into Leon winning more and more. And clearly by Thursday, I posted a video. It was like all in on Leon, but I thought he was actually going to knock him out or something. I really thought he was going to get the finish again. But dude, I don't think any of us saw. Like, I think some of us thought Leon was going to win. Some of us thought Kamaru was going to win, but I don't think anyone in the world thought that Leon Edwards could beat Usman in a decision. Like, I mean, I've been watching the sport forever, and I would have never guessed that Leon could have won by decision. I was telling all my friends, like, hey, if you think Leon's going to win, I'd put it on, KO. But damn, dude, I'm absolutely fucking impressed. Like, first things first, I do want to sit here and shout out to Kamaru Usman. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. I think what that dude does, his pressure, his groundwork, his control time, I think it's been amazing. And I couldn't even imagine how hard it is to actually be a champion that dominant for that long and to defend that many times. So shouts out to Kamaru Usman. He deserves all of it. I know he's not going to get his praise for another 5-10 years when he's long gone and nobody cares anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember when GSP was getting hate left and right, especially the Johnny Hendricks fights and some of the Carlos Condit fights. Some of those fights there that were kind of him taking it easy and he learned, you don't need to take brain damage all the damn time. We see this all the time. People learn. John Jones seems like he's learning from it now, but you start to fight smarter. You start to, fight a little more safe and a little more boring, I guess, just because you got the talent, but if people call it boring, it's usually because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But still, I remember GSP getting hate left and right, especially when he was still around. But then, now he's out of there. He gets to beat Bisbing, gets double champ, all that shit. And then now he's, retired happily and everything. And now it's like, oh, he would beat Habib. Everybody's sucking his jock. So I think it's going to happen with Usman. It's definitely well-deserving. That dude, phenomenal. But, man, Leon Rocky Edwards, dude. I think one of my first things that I really want to talk about is just how happy I am for this guy. Not only to win in, the O2 in London, in his hometown, with all his people. But, the one thing I was actually really, really worried about was that I just thought that, because we could talk about how 4 years ago when this guy was on his 6-fight winning streak, 7-fight winning streak, where it's like, yeah, he probably deserved a title shot back then. People get it, for way less. Look at Jorge Masvidal goes out and gets absolutely destroyed by Usman, and then comes back out and gets another title fight just because he sits a year. Same with Colby. We can go on for days and days and days about probably the worst title shots ever given. So, he definitely deserved it back then. But then, this whole last year, we especially last year with the whole Paddy the Baddy, Tom Aspinall, Allen, as an Arnold Allen, you got all these guys out here that are really starting to make a wave over there. I mean, Meatball Molly McCann, you got these things, and it seems like every big fight that they've had, especially those fight nights last year that were just trending, and they might have even been cards of the year last year. It's just Leon was like, man, Leon's not there. It's like he deserves it more than anybody. He's been around the longest, and I'm happy that he actually got to celebrate that with his fans and everything. But dude, can we talk about his takedown defense? Tonight was ridiculous on that takedown defense. I was actually really impressed with the leg strikes that he had going. Them leg kicks were fucking filthy. The body shots, you could tell, kind of hurt Kamaru there a little bit. And, it was definitely a big factor that I was talking about and why I thought Leon was going to win. It was finally, we're about to see Usman have to come to the champion to beat him. And now it's Leon finally kind of getting to put the back up against the fence a little bit. Not necessarily because you can't have your back up against the cage when you're about to fight good old fucking Kamaru Usman, who's going to take you down. So he did a good job of circling off and staying in the center and doing all the things he needed to do. But you know what I'm saying? Figuratively, hey, you got to come beat the champ. So that's where I was like, man, I think that his ego was there a little bit. You can kind of tell every time he was his failed takedowns were, every time that Leon defended a takedown. You could see in Usman's face that he was getting pissed off. So, dude, just hats off to Leon. Absolutely fucking amazing. The takedown, like I said, takedown defense, the hand fighting was ridiculous. Just the way he never let him grasp him hands together and just get them takedowns. And even when he did get taken down a couple of times there, it was like just I was sitting there nervous because you want him to win. And we've seen Usman be so dominant before. So every time he got taken down a little bit, you're like, oh shit. But you just saw Edwards just being real patient and then would make his way up. And dude, it was just, wow, just absolutely phenomenal. I thought he fought a hell of a fight. I think it was the second round, I think there was, where I thought the first round he came amazing. Second round I thought he did well too, but I think he did that. He dove in for a takedown, and I'm like, what the fuck is Leon doing? I know in the second fight, the first title fight, that he gets that first round, he gets the full mount, he lands on top of Usman when Usman tried to do the toss and sweep and whatnot. And then Leon ends up on top and, stays on top forever. But so that shit was really phenomenal. But man, the takedown today, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was worried. And then, of course, if the last thing we can talk about is just, I was kind of sitting there at first. I was like, first round when there was that first ball punt or kick to the sack, I was like, oh no. And then I think there was that Leon was grabbing inside of Kamaru's glove to defend one of the takedowns. I know we got the point taken away there in the third with the fence grab. So, there were certain parts I was worried, and man, it would have been crazy to see a draw. One of my buddies was like, oh, I'm just throwing the Hail Mary, just throwing $10 down on the draw. And it's what I think it's like a plus 5,000 or something crazy. So that was pretty cool if that would have happened. But, I thought Edwards won. I thought he did enough. The one thing, I guess, when we go into that third round, if we talk about that whole the whole point deduction, if I'm Kamaru Usman, I'd have been really fucking pissed off if I was him. Like, you're telling me, okay, Herb, you stop the fight, cool. You take the point, cool. But we should go right back into that position. I had his back. I was about to take him down. We should go right back into that position. And no, you just get the stand up. So, I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time. But if you're in a 5-round title fight and you're not worried about losing one round just because of this takedown's about to happen, why wouldn't you grab the fence now at this rate? It's stupid. I don't think you should, but it's like, if we're just going to lose position, and I had an awful position I was in, and I just get to go stand right back in the middle of the cage and right back to standing up, yeah, I would probably do that. So, that part was a little weird, but still hats off to fucking Leon. Hats off to Usman for a hell of a career. I did think Usman looked off a little bit tonight. I don't know what it was. His stand-up looked kind of like old Usman before Trevor Whitman got him. I thought his stand-up looked pretty bad tonight, which I guess it never really looks that good unless he's fighting a Colby Covington, who's not really a striker, and then the one knockout of Jorge Masvidal, which even going into watching that entire fight back and everything, and even being in the moment, it wasn't like he was piecing Masvidal up. He just got that really nice punch, and then he did piece up Gilbert Burns, but again, Gilbert Burns isn't a Leon Edwards level striker. So, I would like to say it's more Edwards that made Usman look bad tonight, but it's up to you guys too, because I even felt like Edwards was the thing that was so beautiful with him was that, he really didn't let his hands go too much until the end. And I know he had that nasty knee, and then it was just the leg kicks and the body kicks are amazing. And then even in the fifth, a couple of times, he got that kick over, the same switch kick, it got over there a couple of times and tagged him a little bit. But man, it seems like I just watched the post-fight interview. It seems like Dana's given Colby Covington the battle to Leon, the title shot. And that's the one thing I was kind of shocked with. If you guys watch this entire card, I know there was that one point there during the I think it was the Jennifer Maia Casey O'Neill fight, I want to say. It was after the first round. You heard John Anik say, oh, the pop that we just got was the loudest all night because Colby came in and did a bunch of crowd work and whatnot. And then when they showed him on the main card there, they showed him on the video, and he just got the loudest pop ever. I'm sitting here like, man, the UK must hate Kamaru Usman if they're out here cheering for Colby Covington like that. Everybody hates Colby Covington. And he's out of the limelight he's out of the spotlight for what, 5 minutes? It feels like, or a couple months, and all of a sudden he's like a fan favorite. So I guess we're going to wait for that fight. That sounds dope, whatever. I'm in for it. I definitely am not mad. I don't think Masvidal deserves it either, but this is the thing that's tough. Usman clears out a division like this. What are you going to do? So, absolutely phenomenal shit. I guess we're getting the Colby fight for sure, which I'm not mad at. And it's actually, if you're Leon, that's a pretty great matchup. If you're like, man, for my second title defense and my first title defense that isn't, Kamaru Usman, it's like I get to kind of fight the exact same guy. So, I think that part's going to be pretty cool, but I am a little worried about it just because I know Leon looked amazing tonight, but there is a possibility out there that Usman was, just a little slower. He's getting a little older. His knees are really bad. Them leg kicks were taking a lot. So, phenomenal work from Leon. I'm not taking anything away from him. I thought it was phenomenal. Everything about it. I'm happy he got to celebrate this. So that was fucking dope. And then, Jesus Christ, let's get going. Let's just keep going. Justin Gaethje too. I thought that was a phenomenal fight with Rafael Fiziev. I will sit here and be a little honest with you guys. I thought the first 2 rounds were closer. First round, I thought Fiziev for sure. Second round, I was like, probably Fiziev, but I could see, if Gaethje got one of them, I guess, but I didn't think he won the first round. Second round was close, and then the third round, I definitely thought Gaethje won. But, I did think Fiziev looked really fucking good, and, shouts out to Justin Gaethje for winning me money, baby. This is one thing. I was like, Fiziev is that man. Don't get me wrong. I think Fiziev's a dude. He's one of my favorite fighters, especially my favorite prospects coming up because I'm a huge Muay Thai guy. I'm a broken record when I talk about this shit, but, I love my strikers, and, I mean, you saw it tonight. There was a couple of times where he had Gaethje sitting there like, woo, there's a couple knees, a couple elbows, a couple of them body shots. I thought that was the thing too. It was like Fiziev really sold, went all in on the body shots and really bought in on him. And I thought it worked. I thought it was working all of a sudden. And then that third round, Gaethje comes out like a banshee. I mean, it's the human highlight reel. So when I saw he was a 2-1 underdog as in Gaethje, and I saw that the decision was a plus 750. You guys best believe I put about $50 on that, and I won some money tonight just off of that bet alone. So shouts out to Gaethje. Just when I was sitting here making a video about like, man, what's really next for Gaethje? Like, even if he beats a Fiziev, like, okay, you beat an up and comer, you've already fought the rest of the guys, so like, what's left? But man, his jab in that third round. Oh my God, Justin Gaethje's jab in that third round was fucking phenomenal. That's a championship level jab right there. So, if he's gonna fight like that, and then he gets his first takedown in the UFC finally after all these years of hearing how great of a wrestler he is, it was cool to see that at the end of the third. The whole crowd kind of went nuts. The bar that I was at kind of went nuts. So that part was pretty funny. But now here I am again, all in on whoever they put up next. Dustin Poirier rematch would be cool now that he's got Trevor Whitman. As in Justin Gaethje's got Trevor Whitman in his corner to kind of keep him there and to keep him fresh and to keep him going. And he's fighting smarter game plans and things and not just fighting like a dumbass and just throwing caution to the wind. So that would be a fun fight. But both of those guys really don't have much left in the tank. Not to be mean. It's just like I like to sit here and think of our favorite fighters as in like how to get them to the belt. Like that's usually how things happen. But now it's like Gaethje's going into that new frame of like, I guess that new category of like the what do they call like the prize fighting? Like Max Holloway's kind of in there now, where it's like I've had the belt for so long, I lost to Volkanovski. Like, do I really want the belt anymore? Like Usman's gonna be in there. I mean, Conor McGregor's the number one example of that. Like I can go on for days about certain things like that, like Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, all these guys. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get the belt ever again, but like, look at the main fights that I can get. So that part's pretty cool. I'm definitely down with anything they throw Justin Gaethje's way. It is sad that we are coming down to such a end of a career that's so beautiful. Like I know he's got a couple of years left, but still, like we are getting to that rate where we've seen him fight so many times. So, his performance there in the third round, fucking phenomenal. I'm not going to argue that fight, at least decision. And I definitely thought Fiziev did enough too to look fucking phenomenal. So, shouts out to Fiziev. I mean, he's going to be a killer. He's going to be back. So I just thought it was a bad matchup for that time. I don't want to talk much about the Gunnar Nelson fight. I do want to say that was one of my locks of the night for submission. Won me some money as well. So shouts out to Gunnar Nelson. Brian Barberina is one of my guys, but like, no offense. It's just tough when it's like such a late, replacement fight. And Brian Barberina is just one of the tough ones. Like I've talked about before, like, he's not the best fighter in the world. He's not a top 50 fighter in the world, but that dude is phenomenal when it comes to just being fun to watch. And he is pretty good. He is pretty technical, but just these guys are a little better than him. I mean, we've seen it with RDA and things, but he's at the same time, he can beat your Robbie Lawler. And I know Robbie Lawler is later in his career, but he's got plenty of these out there that he can hang with some great guys, especially when it's stand up. But when it comes to the ground game, it just kind of happens that way. I don't want to say it like this because I never try to be disrespectful to fighters. They're my favorite athletes in the world, so I try to be as honest as possible. And if I am ever, nagging on them, it's just comparing them to other high-level athletes. And the one thing that was tough for me was, the Casey O'Neill fight for me. I'm just such a big King Casey fan. I really, when I watch her, I think she's about to be the next big – I don't want to say next big thing, but I think she is one of the next prospects in women's MMA, and her striking's pretty good and whatnot. But, man, Jennifer Maia tonight – Jennifer Maia, you look fucking amazing. You can tell that she's been killing the gym. She's like, no offense to her at all, because I'm sure I'd look the same way, even though I hit the gym twice a day and shit. But like, still, Jennifer Maia back when we saw her fight Amanda Nunes when she was going through that like tough rough patch after those fights. It's like she was always a little like softer, not like as in like muscle and stuff. Like her body was a little softer, not chunky at all by any means, but like just you could tell she doesn't not maybe doesn't hit cardio as crazy and whatnot, doesn't hit the gym as much, not hit the weights, but now she's looking like a rejuvenated fighter. I'm so used to her, looking to get the clinch, maybe look to get you like controlled on the fence or the takedown and stuff, and then she came out looking like Mike Tyson tonight with the fucking head movement. So, shouts out to her. She ruined my fucking parlay. I had 5 of 6 right, and her ass ruined it for me by beating Casey O'Neill. I had Casey O'Neill on the decision. Ruined my night. I would have won not millions, but I would have won thousands of dollars tonight off a $100 bet. And she fucked me. But everything else I got right, winning methods and stuff, so I can't complain. Marvin Vettori fucking, that was the one. I don't want to sit here and complain. It was a phenomenal fight. I really enjoyed the fight. It was cool to see Marvin Vettori kind of not cool to see him get rocked, but it was cool to see how he responded to getting rocked. And Roman Dolidze, man, absolute fucking machine. Just walked straight down at you, throwing just haymakers left and right. It's like, honestly, Vettori was doing such a phenomenal job staying in the phone booth and, getting out of that way of that right hand after the first round, of course. And, I could see where he did more work, I guess, when it comes to actual landing strikes, but dude, Roman Dolidze was just walking him down like the Terminator. Had the whole fucking. I mean, they always count the who's pressing the pace, who's got the center, control the octagon, like that shit. It's like Roman Dolidze had all of that. And the thing that was pissing me off with Dolidze, I feel like he lost this fight tonight. Not necessarily like Vettori winning it. I was just really pissed with Dolidze because but I was just really mad with Dolidze just because of the single fact that he just kept throwing that overhand right all night. And it was like, yeah, it caught him in the first round, but after a while, it wasn't hitting him at all anymore. And it was like, dude, you're literally just throwing one punch. And it's like, bring that left hook with it. Maybe start with the jab first. Maybe switch that overhand right to a straight, or maybe just a fucking uppercut or any other angle than just the overhand right. Like, he could have been doing so much more. And I honestly felt like if he would have just faked the right, came with the left hook. Like, I know it's easier to say while you're watching a fight, clearly, but just saying for a high-level MMA fighter who's in a huge fight for him, like probably the biggest fight of his career, it's like, man, you got to learn these tendencies, man. Like, it's just me. I'm not trying to dog him or nothing because it was still a phenomenal performance. I'm not mad at either one winning. This is when I kind of call for draws more because it's such a close fight. I don't think either guy lost or either guy won, but, I'm not mad. Marvin Vettori showed it. Every time Roman Dolidze was trying to get him going, Vettori was staying there patient, not letting him get to it, get under his skin. So shouts out to him. A couple other fights that I won money off tonight, shouts out to Muhammad Mokaev. It's one of this is the one thing with Muhammad Mokaev with me. I've been a huge fan. I mean, it's only been 364 days since I've even known the guy because, he's fought 4 times in the last 364 days. And, I think he's fucking phenomenal. There's just something about him. When I watch him at 21 years old making his debut last year, he's only 22 now. Watching him making his 21-year-old debut was just, man, something impressive. Like, it reminded me a lot of like when John Jones was, 21, when he was coming in the UFC, just killing cats. And then, it reminds me of like the young Max Holloway that we were starting to see, the young Conor McGregor when he was coming up. Like, there's certain guys when they just, Sage Northcutt jokes, got you guys there, just making sure you guys paying attention. But still, you know what I'm saying? These guys, when you see them at 20, 21 years old, and they're beating grown-ass fucking men like, Raul Rosas Jr. at 18 years old to get dubs like this over a guy that's 29 years old. Like, grown men's strength is a thing, but still, for these guys to win, you can tell these prospects at such a young age, and that's why I think Muhammad Mokaev that's why I'm so high on him, because I just know he's got it all. Not only the grappling, the speed, the stand-up, all these things. And I was really looking forward to him, making his I can't really say return, but it was his return after getting shoulder surgery. And this is the thing that sucked, man. Is like he's out here he's number 12 ranked, and he's out here trying to get fights left and right, but everybody's ducking him because everybody wants to keep the rank, or everybody's like, oh, I just got to the top 15. I don't want to lose already to this kid. And he's literally just getting fights denied here, left and right. And it's like, so he's got to jump in against the guy that's making his UFC debut. And Filo looked fucking phenomenal. Honestly, that first round, Mokaev came out, was almost too dominant. I picked him by submission, which was a wild one for me because I thought he had a chance to knock him out. He's just so good, but I was like, fuck it, I want to go by submission. And, I'm sitting there watching it. The second round, I'm like, oh, no. Oh no, because Mokaev kind of looked like he took the second round off, and then third round, he's getting takedown after takedown, and then gets into the meanest knee bar I've ever seen in my fucking life. That shit was deep. I mean, it could ruin this kid's career just because of that. But for him to fight out of that, and then I'm sitting there with like a minute left in the fight, I'm like, oh, my first leg of my parlay is already fucking done. Here we go, night's over. And with 30 seconds left, this boy pulls out the submission of a lifetime after getting his leg ripped off, and he can barely stand there. Just absolutely phenomenal. I hope he gets the $50,000 bonus, $60,000, $75,000, whatever he fucking deserves, because he deserves it for that heart. And I am worried because he is 22 years old. I'm just worried that knee might be too damaged, because like you heard Bisping talking about, we hear it all the time. I mean, I know a lot of guys that train BJJ that are just stupid and don't tap in class when it comes to leg locks and shit, knee bars and shit, and they're never the same. You hear like everybody talks. Everybody's got. If you've trained, you know guys like this. So like I am worried at 22 and such a dominant fighter. I am worried that maybe his leg's never going to be the same, because that shit was deep. But, we'll see it later on. But, Jack Shore, another one, won me some money. Looked kind of weird there at first against Amirkhani in that first round. And I'm sitting there like, fuck me, man. No, not again. Like, of course, Makwan Amirkhani, he always does this shit to me. He'll look fucking phenomenal on a fight. Look fucking phenomenal. Win, get a submission, something crazy over a guy that you're like, oh, yeah, he'll probably lose. And then, then the next three fights, he gets knocked out. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is the Amirkhani that I know. And then, yeah, he fights Jack Shore, who's like top dog, 5-1 favorite and all these things. And then he gets absolutely taken down. And, I was going to lock in the Jack Shore submission for sure, but I ended up being a pussy and changed it to submission or decision, just because of the fact Amirkhani's only been submitted once, and he's great on the ground, especially when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And then second round, he comes out absolute fucking killing it. Gets a submission win. I'm over there hyped, and then of course he's shouting at his dad, which was the emotional part of the night. His dad's got cancer and everything, and it's like it's hard not to be a badass fighter when your dad's going through certain things like that, or your loved ones are going through certain things like that. Like, competing at any level and anything is, it's nothing in comparison of when it comes to a battle for your life. So, shouts out to Jack Shore. I'm happy he went up in weight, not killing himself. He looked fucking phenomenal. Who else? The only other people I can maybe shout out is was it Yanel Ashmoz or whatever, that the kid from Israel or whatever the hell. Dude, that kid is a killer. 5'9", fighting that Sam Patterson. They're both making their UFC debuts, but Sam Patterson was like what was the tail of the tape for that guy? 6'3", 155. Like, I think he had a 78-inch reach, and like I think Ashmoz only had like a 68, and I think he had 10 inches on this boy. And then, of course, he's fucking 6 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches taller than him. And then, within seconds, it's like, holy shit. Fucking one of the craziest knockouts you'll see, especially one of the more explosive knockouts you'll see. But, the one scary thing that I am really worried about is if you guys go back, and there's some videos were going all around Twitter. And, I mean, if you were watching the fight, you saw it too. But Sam Patterson, after the fight, still feel like still not there all the way, still knocked out, still dazed and confused, trying to grapple with the ref, trying to fight with his corner. It was a scary sight, and I hope he takes a while off, because that's legit. That was scary for me to watch that, because you don't see that often. You see it like instantly when you got a guy pulling him off him. You'll see a guy go for the legs or something all the time of a ref, but when he's already been knocked out, he's already been picked up. Like after he's laying there for like a minute, then he gets picked up, gets taken back to his corner, and he's still fighting. That's scary. So I hope the best for him. But shouts out to Yanel Ashmoz. Man's a dog. And then I think the only other thing I could even talk about was the just how sad it was for was it Christian Leroy Duncan, I think it was, who was making his UFC debut. Crazy kickboxer. Well, I had that really good fight with or at least I liked the matchup that he had with what was the dude's name? Dusko Tortorovich or something. Dude's a killer as well, but man, he fucking blows out his ACL or MCL, something like that, on one of the clinch within like 2 minutes in their first clinch that they get into. He goes for like a little toss and he blows out, calls the fight. So that one was tough. And you hope, like, it's not the debut you want to see for a guy that's been, highly touted for coming over to the UFC, and you also don't want to see that for a guy that's got such a big fight as in like Todorovich or whatever. I'm terrible at saying some of these guys' last names, but Dusko, he is a killer. I like watching him. So, amazing card, another amazing one. We're stacked still. We got so many more months of fucking fights. I'm fucking geeked, and shit, won me some money tonight. Hopefully I won you guys some money. So let me know what your guys' favorite fights was. Who do you guys want next for Leon? I don't know what's next for Usman. You know what I'm saying? What's next for Usman? We're sitting here on Usman like, what is next for Usman? We're gonna sit here and pretend like we want to see him fight any person he's fought already. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I know the Colby fight in him is very entertaining, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the Jorge Masvidal fight. I don't really want to see the Gilbert Burns fight again just because they're friends. And, like, I know that friends should mean shit in MMA, but, like, for me, it's like, unless it's a title fight, like, why would you guys fight each other? Hamzat's not coming back to 170. What are they going to do, Shavkat versus Kamaru Usman? I don't know if Usman wants that fight. I don't know. I just don't know what's out there for Usman anymore. I really don't. This is a tough one for him. Like, clearly, fucking Colby Covington can beat Usman, or can beat Leon this literally in a couple months. And the next thing you know, Usman's got a shot to go right back to the title. So if I'm Usman, I'm probably waiting out a little bit. You fought for so many consistent years already, and I was actually kind of expecting a retirement. So we'll see, baby. As always, Stephen Moustaris. Let's go, baby.